My father was Deputy General Lin Jing. He died blocking an arrow for General Su Zhen. I was taken to the general's mansion and became the second young miss. Lady Su treated me like her own daughter. I had the best food and clothes, but the eldest miss, Su Xiao, was always causing trouble, and I had to take the blame. She said, "Your father saved my father's life. He won't do anything to you." After that, he'd visit brothels, I'd pay. He'd get into fights, I'd draw my sword. Until the Imperial Flower Banquet, I was pushed into the water. He kicked away the person who came to save me, and pulled me ashore himself. Joking? You're my sister-in-law-to-be. Let anyone dare touch a single hair on you. Su Xiao was punished again to kneel in the ancestral hall. This was the 33rd time I'd seen her kneel since I became the second miss of the Su family. I brought a food box, quietly went around to the back window and knocked twice. Su Xiao poked her head out, her face covered in crease marks from sleeping, still groggy with sleep. Wang Xing, if you'd come any later, I'd have starved to death in the ancestral hall. Do you have the roast chicken I love? Ru Mama's specialty roast chicken, crispy skin and dripping fat. One bite and your soul would fly away from the aroma. She eagerly took my food box, opened it, and saw the roast chicken. Her eyes lit up. Su Xiao was the only daughter of the Su family. General Su had her late in life and doted on her. She was spoiled, never had to endure hardships since childhood, and she had martial arts personally taught by General Su. It was always her causing trouble, and when others came to complain, Lady Su had to teach her a lesson, so she'd make her kneel in the ancestral hall. Over time, Su Xiao got used to it. She'd bring a blanket in advance, spread it on the prayer mat, and sleep it off. This time, Su Xiao stripped Zhao Yu, the queen's nephew, naked, stuffed him in a sack, and hung him on a tree with a snake. Everyone knows how busy Chang'an Street is in the morning. It's well known. As soon as Zhao Yu was taken down, he covered himself with the sack and ran half the street. Thankfully, he wasn't bitten by the snake, just lost some face. Lady Su was afraid the palace would blame her, so she had Su Xiao kneel in the ancestral hall first. With no choice, I massaged her stiff neck and advised, "Madam knew you'd be hungry, so she specially told the kitchen early this morning to make roast chicken for you. Eldest miss, next time, maybe take it a little easier." Su Xiao tilted her neck, wincing in pain. "Take it easy? He's a grown man, wearing makeup and powder, like a sissy, and he dared to want to take you as a concubine." Puffed, "That twig? He's not worthy. I could break him with one punch. I think he lost his mind, setting his sights on you. Yesterday I went shopping with Su Xiao, and we accidentally ran into Zhao Yu and his gang. I don't know where he got the nerve. He actually wasn't afraid of Su Xiao anymore. He exchanged a few words, then pointed at me and said he wanted to take me as a concubine." Su Xiao was furious, and gave him a good beating openly. After we got back, she went straight to Madam, knelt down with a thud and told her the whole story. Madam was so angry, she grabbed her by the ear and scolded her for the time it takes to burn 3 incense sticks. Over and over, she said, "How many times have I told you? Before you do something bad, cover your face first, don't leave evidence. That Zhao guy is like a plucked chicken. When you strip him, don't do it yourself. Aren't you afraid of getting dirty? There are so many people in the mansion. Go quietly at night and come back quietly. It would save me so much trouble." But Su Xiao can't learn Madam's cunning. She's always straightforward. So the general's mansion's fortune has lost more than half. I am the daughter of Lin Jing, the deputy general of General Su. My father, on the battlefield, took a sword for the general. Couldn't withstand it, and that was it. Before he died, he entrusted me to the Su family. Before General Su brought me home, I was nervous about whether I would be accepted. But Madam just held my wrist, frowned and murmured, "Too skinny." Su Xiao pulled me over, patted his chest and guaranteed that he would raise me to be fair and plump. Within a month of entering the house, because of his 3 meals a day, every meal had meat, I suffered from indigestion from all the feeding, vomiting and diarrhea, and I lost weight as a result. Madam, alarmed, found a doctor specially to regulate my health. After much effort, I gained a few ounces of flesh. He said, "From now on, you are the second young lady of the mansion. Whoever bullies you bullies Su Xiao." But who would have thought? Su Xiao treated me as her talisman, relying on my father's favor to the general, pushed all the blame onto me. She said, "Your father saved my father's life. He won't do anything to you." After that, she visited brothels and I paid. She saw injustice and I drew my sword. We two did all sorts of evil, unrestrained and domineering, and cost the Su family a lot of silver again. At noon, Madam returned from the palace and gulped down 3 bowls of tea, ordered someone to drag Su Xiao over. She said the empress, to appease her own family, planned to marry Su Xiao to Zhao Yu. Why should the royal family keep plucking my family? My brother was pushed to death by them, and now they want to use me to fill the hole? Speaking of Su Xiao's brother, Su Mu, Madam's face fell somber. This is a taboo in the Su family. Su Mu was handsome and heroic, but was taken a fancy to by the second princess, born of the empress, who wanted to choose him as her consort. Unfortunately, the second princess had fits of madness, biting and tearing at those around her. The day before the imperial decree of marriage arrived, Sumu died on the battlefield. The second princess thought he didn't want to marry her and blew up the silver coffin in a rage. On the day the coffin entered the capital, the welcoming party overturned the coffin and the corpse inside rolled onto the ground, already decomposed beyond recognition. She still forced Madame to identify whether it was Sumu. She said if it wasn't Sumu, he faked his death to escape the marriage, then she would expel him from the family tree, let him die at the frontier, never to return to the capital, only to be a wandering ghost in a foreign land. So the Su family only has Su Shao, but no Sumu. Now, the Empress wants Su Shao to marry into that family again. How can the Su family not hate? Fine, if they want me to marry, I'll marry. Su Shao grinned, a hint of malice flickering in her eyes. My future husband is frail. If one day he can't bear it and dies early, then can I inherit all of the Zhao family's assets? Madame clapped her hands in delight. That's exactly what I said. She was choked by me, face pale and red. Zhao Yu is the only son of the Duke's mansion. If he's willing to let go, I'll gladly accept. But that venomous woman set her sights on Wan Xing again. The general, who was just entering, heard the conversation and made a decision in a loud voice, then hold a flower recruiting banquet for Wan Xing. Our Su family has no sons, only daughters. Spread the word that we're seeking a son-in-law for Wan Xing. A son-in-law? I was dumbfounded. The Su family intends to support me for life. But how could that be? I shook my head to refuse. Madame took my hand. She said guiltily, Wang Xing, don't refuse just yet. If your father were still here, with his military achievements, promotion was only a matter of time. Your marriage prospects would naturally rise with. Su Shao has ruined the Su family's reputation, affecting your marriage. I've thought it over, only by keeping you by my side, can I feel at ease. Su Shao's eyes lit up. Brilliant. A son-in-law is half a son. Then my brother. Madame nodded. I was confused. What did this have to do with Su Mu? Wasn't he long dead? At the morning flower banquet, the Su family sent out many invitations. Most attendees were lesser-born sons of common families. Zhao Yu also came. Relying on his status, he casually picked a peony from the garden and tried to put it in my hair. I tilted my head away, meeting his gaze without fear. A son-in-law? Lin Wangqing, you think this can drive me away? He smiled without blinking, crushing the peony in his fingers, and threw it before me. What if you lose your reputation today? Who would want you then? Before he finished speaking, a maid came running over, stumbled, and bumped me into the water. Zhao Yu shouted, Miss Lin, don't worry, I'll save you. Just as he was about to jump in, Su Shao rushed over and kicked him flying. Do you think you're worthy of saving her? In the blink of an eye, a figure, with lightning speed, jumped in, swam swiftly to my side, grabbed me, and swam to shore. I could only see the back of his head. Let me go, I can swim. The man was surprised, turned back to glance at me, tightened his arm around my waist, and teased, You can swim? You were deliberately sinking? That was just to scare Zhao Yu. If he came down, I'd grab his foot and give him a hard time. Rumors in the capital say Su Shao is dark and ruthless. Actually, they're wrong. I'm the dark one, and I'm the ruthless one. She likes to help the weak, so I take care of the aftermath. She enjoys saving the downtrodden, so I'm the one who secretly pays. It was Su Shao who stripped Zhao Yu, but I put the snake there. Too bad time was too short. I didn't have time to catch a venomous snake. I sneered, none of your business. On shore, Su Shao blocked all the onlookers, hopping around excitedly. No one is allowed in the water. Wanqing is being rescued. Stay put, all of you. When the man carried me ashore, I realized his face looked familiar. Su Shao's lips moved, looking at him excitedly. I was wrapped in a cloak and carried back to the guest room. My ankle was scraped by a stone at the bottom of the lake, blood seeping out. Su Shao hurriedly turned around to call a doctor for me. I stared at the man before me, lost in thought. He took off my shoes and socks, placed my foot on his knee, and said with a smile, At the border, when you sneaked out to pick wild berries, I was taken aback. Then I suddenly remembered who he was. He was the general strategist, Lu Feng. Why did he come back? Back at the border, when father went out to fight, I disguised myself as a boy in the camp and helped the army medic with odd jobs. When I had nothing to do, I'd sneak out to pick wild fruit. But one time I ran too far, got lost, and Lu Feng came looking for me. He found me trapped in a tree by a pack of wolves, shivering. He drove the wolves away, told me to jump down, said he'd catch me. But maybe he was cross-eyed or something, because he totally missed. I sprained my ankle when I fell, and all the fruit got crushed. Lu Feng offered to carry me back, but I was afraid he'd drop me again, so I picked 2 branches, one as a crutch, and put the other in his hand, letting him pull me back. He was the strategist, who usually wore a mask and never showed his real face. When I asked him, he said his face was disfigured in battle. Over time, we got to know each other. He knew I liked wild fruit, so he took me out to pick them together. We caught rabbits, hunted deer, and became like brothers. We watched stars in the wild, drank wine around a campfire. If father hadn't died unexpectedly, I think I might have confessed my true identity to him. Why are you here? Lu Feng's face isn't disfigured. It's surprisingly handsome and striking. Like someone from a painting, he wasn't disfigured but lied to me. I looked up with a cold smile and kicked him in the chest with my other foot, but he caught my foot in his hand. Yet you, clearly a woman, wanted to be my big brother. Embarrassed and annoyed, I turned away, fuming inside. Su Xiao, with his shifty eyes, was peeking in through the door. When I glanced over, he quickly called the doctor in. Lu Feng stood up and stepped aside, watching the doctor prescribe medicine for me. The crowd in the courtyard had long dispersed. I heard that Zhao Yu was kicked down, and his lower back hit a stone, spraining it. Su Xiao gloated, serves him right. I hope he broke his back, so he's paralyzed for the rest of his life, and has to lie in bed. The maidservant Qinghe had finished brewing the medicine, and brought it over. Su Xiao took the bowl, his eyes darting, pretending to be in a hurry, shoved the bowl into Lu Feng's hands, and ran out. I almost forgot, mother still has matters to attend to. Let him do the feeding. I watched speechlessly as he went out, almost tripping, and stumbling off. Lu Feng smiled as he held the bowl, scooped a spoonful and blew on it, then brought it to me. I blushed, cursing myself silently. We used to huddle together for warmth at the border. Why am I so thin-skinned now that I'm back in the capital? Drink it before it gets cold, Lu Feng reminded me. With my face burning, I stubbornly said, I like it cold. Lu Feng said, then I'll blow on it some more. I quickly bit the spoon, and the next second, he laughed out loud. The Su family's plan to recruit a son-in-law got out. These past few days, I've noticed that Lu Feng is even more familiar with the Su family's layout than I am, and Madame gets teary-eyed whenever she sees him. Su Xiao is also unexpectedly warm and dependent on him. I suspect he might be Su Mu. Before I could confirm, the second princess from the palace suddenly, from somewhere, heard some rumor and came storming in with a sword, looking crazy. Pointing at me, she asked if he was Su Mu. Su Xiao grabbed his stool in shock and lifted it in the air. You have to ask Lu Feng why he put the sword to Wan Xin's throat. Lu Feng was tense, his eyes as cold as the wind cutting through the sword blade. Did the princess hear some rumor? Su Mu is dead. I am Lu Feng. The second princess stared at him intently, crying and laughing at the same time. You're Su Mu, aren't you? You look exactly like him. If you don't admit it, I'll kill her. She pressed down hard, and a line of blood started trickling down my neck. Soon it soaked my collar. Su Xiao let out a shriek and turned red with panic. He's not Lu Feng, indeed. He is Chen Yu, the heir of the Marquis of Jingnan. The general strode in from outside the door. He bowed to Lu Feng. Impossible. He is clearly Su Mu. How could he be Chen Yue? The second princess didn't believe it. Tears slowly flowed as she screamed. Lu Feng, no. Chen Yu seized the chance and threw a teacup, hitting her wrist. He pulled me over in one motion. I leaned into his arms, scared out of my wits, still shaken. Chen Yue held me tight by the waist and took out the jade token of the heir of the Marquis of Jingnan. I don't know the Su Mu you speak of, but if my fiancé is hurt, I will go to the palace to seek an explanation. The palace maid who came to fetch the princess hurriedly pulled the dazed second princess away. Su Xiao snatched me from Chen Yue's arms and looked at my neck with concern. Luckily, the wound isn't deep, but it broke the skin. I wonder if it will scar. That crazy second princess. She goes nuts whenever she sees someone who looks like my brother. Keeping 5 male favorites who resemble my brother in her mansion, it makes me sick. She thought for a moment, then suddenly turned and glared at Chen Yue. All men are the same. If you're good looking, you attract bees and butterflies. Chen Yue rubbed his nose, looking a little helpless. The palace learned that the heir of the Marquis of Jingnan had arrived in the capital and specially summoned him to the palace. In the Qianqing Palace, the second princess, right in front of the emperor, threw another fit. She insisted on seeing Chen Yu's chest to check if there was a red mole. That corpse back then was so decomposed that the flesh was peeling, and only the lady confirmed Su Mu's identity. So the second princess never believed it. Chen Yu didn't show her. The emperor sent eunuch C to examine him, and found no red mole. The emperor scolded the second princess severely. Chen Yu took the chance to ask for scar cream for me. Su Xiao vividly described to me how Chen Yu shut the second princess up and told the emperor that his fiancée was injured through no fault of her own. I pinched her cheek, annoyed. Who's his fiancé? Su Xiao giggled and jumped away. Why wouldn't you be? If he didn't like you, why would he come to our mansion every other day? Don't think I didn't notice that he secretly sent you flowers. That peony is the proof. The pot of peonies by the window bloomed gorgeously. Chen Yu sent it a few days ago. The borderlands are barren, and flowers are rare. Mostly it's just go by desert and yellow soil. I once mentioned casually while joking that I wondered what a national beauty peony looked like. I never expected that after he returned to the capital, he actually found me a pot of peonies. Outside the courtyard, a figure in smoke gray entered. Su Xiao winked at me and ran out. It was Chen Yue bringing scar removal medicine. I turned the scar cream in my hand and asked him absent-mindedly, what exactly are you back for this time? To marry and have children. He answered directly. I was caught off guard. I actually choked on my saliva. Someone promised me something at the border. Remember? Promised what? I was at a loss. Chen Yue's expression was unreadable, half smiling as he stared at me with a smirk. Images flooded my mind. I instantly thought of that time at the border. The general returned victorious with his troops. I drank with the soldiers to celebrate the victory. I couldn't hold my liquor. I got dizzy and drunk. I pinned him against a tree, forcing him to admit he was a woman. I even said, if he were a woman, I'd marry her. But Chen Yue refused to say he was a woman. He said if I were a woman, he'd marry me. I buried my head in his chest and agreed. This all happened a few days before my father died. I covered my pounding heart. My thoughts were complicated in that moment. Chen Yu saw that I remembered, but didn't want to talk about it. So he didn't push me. Xing He came in and said the general wanted the young master in the study. Noticing the weird atmosphere in the room, his eyes kept darting between me and Chen Yue, as if he figured something out. He covered his mouth and snickered. I turned my back, pretending not to notice. After half a month, the wound on my neck had almost healed. Even the scar was invisible. Su Xiao was forced by the lady to stay in the mansion for a long time. After much pleading, she was finally allowed to leave. She dragged me along like a wild horse let loose, shopping all over the street. After packing a roast duck, when we were about to head back, we bumped into Zhao Yu. He walked in with a bunch of people, meeting on a narrow path. Neither side would give way. Su Xiao muttered a fierce curse under her breath. Your waist didn't break. God's blind. Zhao Yu squinted his eyes. He looked me over impudently. That tomboy Su Xiao will never get married, and she's dragging you down, so you won't find a husband either. Lin Wangqing, if you don't marry me now, one day you'll beg me to marry you, but then I'll only take you as a concubine. Hey, Wansing already has a fiancé. Are you stupid? You didn't break your waist, but you lost your mind. Want to go back and look for it? Su Xiao's tongue was sharp. Zhao Yu's face turned green with anger. Daughter of a traitor general, marrying me is your only way out. The Su family can't protect you. What did he say? I'm the daughter of a traitor general? Su Xiao looked at me panicked. She shielded me. What kind of daydream are you having? Take a look at yourself. He gathered all his strength. Aiming between Zhao Yu's legs, he launched a flying kick, sending the guy flying 5 meters away. Amidst the screams, Su Xiao dragged me away, didn't even grab the roast duck, and we ran out. Back at the mansion, she made an excuse to go to the lady to apologize, trying to leave. I called her back. What did Zhao Yu mean? Su Xiao's eyes darted around. You believe him? He opens his mouth and says whatever nonsense. Can he even speak a single decent word? Lin Jingshu has been in the army for decades. What kind of person he is, my father knows best. He couldn't have done something like that. Wangxing, do you believe that scumbag or me? My heart sank. When Su Xiao lies, she doesn't dare to look people in the eye. She's lying. The Su family will always be your backbone. I'll always be your sister, she said solemnly. I knew if I kept asking, he wouldn't say anything more, so I dropped the subject. Su Xiao secretly wiped away some sweat. She breathed a sigh of relief. Watching her reaction, I grew more suspicious. Something must be going on outside. After the lady learned about today's events, she used the marriage as an excuse to confine us and not let us go out. The people in the mansion looked at me with strange expressions. They clearly were hiding something from me, yet they acted as if everything was normal. I just didn't expect that the lady and the others would guard so strictly, yet suddenly an imperial decree came from the palace, summoning me to the palace. Eunuch Shi, who serves the emperor, personally delivered the decree. The lady tried to stop him but was rebuffed. She could only watch anxiously as I was taken away. Chen Yue somehow got the news and was waiting for me at the palace gate. Eunuch Shi, considering the Marquis of Jingnan's heir status, didn't stop him. He allowed him to see me off. Don't worry, I've got everything covered. Don't be afraid, Chen Yue said. Through the sleeve he quietly squeezed my hand. The tension I'd held all the way slowly eased. Halfway there, a young eunuch hurried over and bowed to Chen Yue. Your Highness, the Empress Dowager's heart condition flared up again. She refuses to take medicine. She's clamoring to see you. Her expression shifted slightly. She turned to look at me. Eunuch She smiled obsequiously, urging Chen Yu to go see the Empress Dowager. Her Majesty must be missing the air. The Empress Dowager's health is paramount. I'll personally escort Miss Lin to the Emperor. After Chen Yue left, Eunuch Shi's expression changed instantly. As we neared the Qianqing Palace, the second princess suddenly appeared from somewhere. From the way she looked, she was probably waiting for me on purpose. She nodded at Eunuch Shi. He pretended to have something to do and stepped aside. You, the daughter of a disgraced official, still dream of climbing the social ladder? The princess looked at me arrogantly, her eyes blazing with anger. I don't know what crime my father committed. He clearly saved the general's son, and was the most loyal before his death. Why do they call him a traitor? Princess, Do you have evidence? If there's no evidence, then that's just slander. I remained composed, hiding my suspicious expression. Lin Jing committed treason. He handed over our army's march route and battle deployment maps. That's why our army lost 6 out of 10 battles. The second princess's face twisted. She suppressed a twisted smile. Her whole body seemed struck by lightning. For a moment, I was stunned. Impossible. Father isn't that kind of person. If it weren't for the traitor Lin Jing, why would the Battle of Yufeng Mountain have Su Zhen's ambush be counterattacked? 50,000 against 30,000, yet only a draw? And the previous grain supply was burned. If it hadn't rained heavily, the enemy would have taken the city advantage. Our army would have collapsed. He stepped closer and closer to me, questioning me harshly. His eerie eyes gleamed with excitement. My father is not a traitor. He saved General Su. If he were a traitor, why would he risk his life? I shouted back. The second princess pressed on. Lin Jing is Su Zhen's trusted man. Years of close friendship. Maybe at the last moment he had regrets. That's why he saved him. If it wasn't Lin Jing, then the traitor is Su Zhen. Do you have proof, second princess? If you were certain my father was a traitor, I'm afraid the emperor would have issued an edict long ago. Second princess, don't slander a loyal minister based on your own assumptions. Don't chill the hearts of the 300,000 soldiers at the border. If there was evidence, I would have been arrested and thrown in jail by now. Why would the emperor still summon me? Thinking of this, I calmed down. Eunuch Shi, seeing it was about time, came over. He led me back to the Qianqing palace. I could feel a pair of eyes behind me staring at my back, like the stinger of a wasp, full of resentment. Inside the Qianqing palace, the emperor acted as if I didn't exist. He leisurely reviewed memorials. Until my knees were almost numb from kneeling, he finally asked, "You are Lin Jing's daughter?" I replied, "Your Majesty, this humble woman is his daughter. Have you seen anyone recently?" My mind raced. "Your Majesty, what do you mean? My father is in the military camp. Besides going out for battles, he hasn't seen anyone." This answer didn't seem to satisfy him. The atmosphere in the hall froze for a moment. General Su Zhen commanded troops like a god. But since last year, defeats started to appear. Do you think he's getting old and no longer able to keep up? When the emperor said this, he stared straight at me. I dared not raise my head, afraid to see the ruthlessness in his eyes. The emperor was suspicious of the general. My father is dead, but he and the general were inseparable companions. If the traitor is not my father, then the most likely candidate is the living one. The general is either sheltering me, the daughter of a disgraced official, or he himself is the traitor. General Su, with his armored cavalry, has been scarred all over his life. Every time he charged into battle, his robe soaked in blood, he never showed any signs of retreat. This humble woman doesn't understand warfare, but every time I followed the military doctor to treat wounds, I always saw General Su with the most severe injuries. The emperor sneered. He said in a low voice, "Who knows if it's just a self-inflicted trick?" My heart tightened. I knew he was suspicious of the Su family. The Su family is prominent in the military. Their achievements overshadow the emperor. It could be said, the imperial talisman's authority is less than General Su's single command. How do you know Chen Yu? He begged me for a marriage decree. The second princess also begged me for a marriage decree. Tell me, who should I listen to? The topic suddenly turned to Chen Yue. I prostrated on the ground, cold sweat streaming down. Marquise Jingnan is the emperor's brother. Long ago, the late emperor favored Marquise Jingnan as crown prince. But for a common woman, he gave up the position of crown prince. The late emperor feared that the emperor would later harm Marquis Jingnan, so he gave him a fief in the distant Lingnan. Chen Yue is the heir of Marquis Jingnan. If the emperor discovers that he's been lurking in the military camp for so long, I'm afraid he'll think Marquise Jingnan has sinister intentions, intending to usurp the throne. This humble woman was at the morning flower banquet, saved by the heir. We are not familiar. The second princess is a celestial daughter. I know I dare not compare myself to her. Then I, the emperor, will make Shuhua the main wife. How about you being the secondary? This is trying to make the second princess marry Chen Yue? If I answer well, what virtue do I have? How can I marry alongside a celestial lady? Moreover, the second princess holds grudges. She's narrow-minded. If I go, even if Chen Yu protects me, I'm afraid I won't live long. If I answer poorly, then I'll be suspected of wanting to monopolize Chen Yu. The consequences would be even worse. How should I answer this question? I'm at a disadvantage. The emperor isn't in a hurry either. He's calmly waiting for my answer. But the pressure is getting heavier. The matter of the emperor and Chen Yue taking a wife has already spread back to Lingnan. The letter said he was marrying Lin Jing's daughter as his wife. Shuhua is a princess. Why worry about not finding a suitable husband? The Empress Dowager, supported by Chen Yue, entered. She gave Chen Yue a reproachful look. So this is the fiancé you've been longing for? Afraid the emperor would eat her? You even made me come over to keep watch. Chen Yu said sheepishly, Wanchen rarely comes to the palace. I just wanted the Empress Dowager to see what kind of woman I fancy. The emperor is just and loves the people. How could he eat Wanchen? As for the emperor's question earlier, I'm afraid I cannot comply. My father's revolt revised family motto, men can take concubines only after 45. If my father finds out that I married one wife and one concubine, he would think I'm fickle. He would break my legs and kick me out of the family. The Empress Dowager pulled me up, looked me over, patted my hand, smiling warmly. The girl is delicate. She's a perfect match for you. No wonder you like her so much. Your Majesty, since Chen Yue has already sent word back, let it be. Back when his father married a commoner, I strongly opposed it. It caused him to never set foot in the capital again. I don't want to make another mistake in Chen Yu's marriage. In my old age, I don't even want his father to be unable to return to see me off. The Empress Dowager's words softened the Emperor's expression. The atmosphere suddenly lightened. The Emperor looked at Chen Yu, who was holding my hand and wouldn't let go. He smiled and said, "You're just like your father. Both are hopeless romantics." We came out of the Qianqing Palace. We bid farewell to the Empress Dowager. Chen Yue insisted on seeing me back. Sitting in the sedan chair we came in, I asked Chen Yu, what exactly happened to my father? Why did he go from a meritorious official to a criminal? Chen Yue said there indeed was a spy in the army. General Su and Deputy Lin are both investigating. On the day of the final battle, Deputy Lin found out who the spy was. The enemy launched a surprise attack. To save the general, he hid the evidence. I even suspect the general's assassination was the work of a spy. It dawned on me, is the spy connected to the Empress? Zhao Yu is the Empress's nephew. His actions may have been instigated by the Empress. The Empress has the eldest prince, and has been practicing Buddhism outside the palace. In public, she appears pure and detached, as if she wants nothing. She claims to pray for the Empress Dowager and the Emperor, so she stays long at the Taiping Temple, only leaving during festivals. The Emperor, moved by her filial piety, is quite concerned about him. The eldest prince's actions have earned him great popularity among the people, but the Emperor favors the third prince, born of consort Shen, because he looks more like the Emperor when he was young, and surpasses in both literary talent and martial skill. Is it that the eldest prince, born into royalty? I don't believe in a true Buddha's son. A glint of approval flashed in Chen Yue's eyes. He is of the royal family. How could there be true purity? But he hides at Taiping Temple, completely distancing himself. Zhao Yu is eager to marry you just to get the evidence. They think Deputy Lin gave you the evidence. I thought about it. The day before the battle, my father came specially and gave me all my mother's belongings. He said they were my dowry. Could the evidence be in the dowry? My father had taken my mother's belongings and given them to me. However, I'm not sure if the evidence is among them. Chen Yue and I returned to the mansion. We planned to look for the evidence, but happened to see some servants and maids carrying buckets of water, hurrying to the eastern courtyard. We followed them, and discovered that my courtyard was on fire. The flames were blazing fiercely. I could faintly smell an unusual odor. It's kerosene. Chen Yu's face darkened. We exchanged a glance. There are spies of the Empress in the mansion too. I pretended to cry in panic, rushing to put out the fire. Su Shao hugged my waist. Wan Shen, don't go in, the fire is too big. But inside, there are keepsakes from my parents. He said, take good care of my mother's dowry. When the fire was put out, the eastern courtyard had been reduced to ashes. The madam arranged for me to stay in Su Shao's courtyard. She flew into a rage, wanting to find the arsonist. But they only caught a few newly hired servants. They had taken silver from outsiders, saying no one would be hurt, just to set the fire, but who instigated it, they couldn't say. Su Shao slammed the table in anger. It must be that bastard Zhao Yu taking revenge on me. I'll skin him alive sooner or later. The madam ordered someone to bring out a jewelry box. She pushed it to me guiltily. I hesitated, wanting to speak but unable to. Causing you to lose the keepsake your mother left you. These are not as good as what your mother gave you, but it's a token of my appreciation. When you get married, I will make sure you have a grand wedding. The Marquis of Jingnan's mansion only takes wives, not sons-in-law, so the Su family has long assumed I'd marry into it. But they don't know that Chen Yue has already promised me in private that instead of marrying into a strange place, he'd rather become a live-in son-in-law. And my mother's dowry to me is a pair of bracelets and a Rui 8 treasure hairpin. I already gave them to Chen Yue in the sedan chair, so he could investigate the evidence. But I couldn't speak of it then. How could I know if there were other spies in the Su mansion? After they burned down my courtyard, the Zhao family suddenly became very pleased with themselves. They repeatedly opposed the general at court, and even impeached him for lax military discipline. He got so angry that he came home and downed 3 pots of tea. His wife patted his chest and comforted him. Anyway, I don't want you to go to war anymore either. Every time you go to the battlefield, I dare not close my eyes, fearing news of your death. Su Shao and Wang Qing are not yet married. If you were gone, Who would support them? Just let that old bastard face the enemy. The general was amused. Chen Yue said the same thing. He said to let the Duke of Zhao take my position and go to the battlefield. He's eloquent. He can definitely talk the enemy into surrendering. I laughed. The Duke of Zhao is a civil official. How could he go to war? When it comes to talking, Chen Yue never gave in when we argued at the border. He never admitted defeat. I just know how to play dirty. The next day, the Duke of Zhao personally stepped in. He sent men to surround the general's mansion. They burst in and arrested the general. He stroked his beard and hypocritically dropped the imperial decree. Su Zhen, you have colluded with the enemy and committed treason. The emperor ordered me to bring you to justice. Zhao Yu smugly produced a pile of forged evidence. He just waved them in front of the general, like teasing a dog, not letting him see. Su Xiao's face flushed red. He cursed him for slandering the loyal, so that the Zhao family could dominate and drive the Su family away. His words angered the Duke of Zhao. He said sinisterly, truly, the women of the Su family have backbone. I just hope that after you are punished, you still have such a sharp tongue. I pulled Su Xiao back, telling him to say no more. Zhao Yu had mischief in his eyes. His scarlet tongue flicked like a snake's, licking his lips. Just as we were about to be taken away, Chen Yu rode up and blocked the way. Lin Wangxing is my fiancée. She is the daughter of Lin Jing, not a member of the Su family. I was about to retort, but the general also chimed in, right. Her surname is Lin. She is the daughter-in-law of the Marquis of Jingnan. She has nothing to do with the Su family. Let her go, madam. We just took pity on her and cared for her. Now that the Su family is ruined, there's no need for her to stay here anymore. Su Xiao. Lin Wangqing, your surname is Lin. Leave quickly. Why wade into this trouble with us? I stared blankly at the Su family before me, tears blurring their faces. Zhao citizens know that they were deliberately distancing themselves from me, but under Chen Yu's pressure, they still had someone bring me out and hand me over to him. Zhao Yu paused as he passed Chen Yu and curled his lips sinisterly. Are you really Chen Yu? That coward Chen Yu? Weak and incompetent. Doesn't even know how to fight back. At a palace banquet when we were kids, I pushed him off a rockery. He hit the back of his head. He stared at the back of Chen Yu's head and sneered. Impersonating the heir is a capital offense. Is it or isn't it? You can ask the emperor. Doesn't the emperor recognize his own nephew? As for the rest, don't trouble yourself. Chen Yue's expression remained calm. The two faced off. Underneath, tension surged like a tide. The Su family was thrown into prison. Fortunately, those forged pieces of evidence were not enough to prove. There were quite a few people at court speaking up for the Su family. But what was worrisome was that the Zhao family had far-reaching influence. No sooner had they locked them up than they applied torture twice. I was burning with anxiety. I asked Chen Yu if he had found the evidence. He shook his head. There's a place name on your mother's hairpin. It's the name of a village called Tianlan. But when I sent people to find it, that village had been burned down. The Empress massacred the entire village to eliminate all traces. That's why she's so emboldened to pin the blame on the Su family. I felt even more hatred, and I was also shocked by the methods of the Empress and the eldest prince. So cruel, how can they be worthy rulers? Tianlan isn't the village's name. It's a mountain name, just behind the village. I took a deep breath, suppressed my heavy feelings, and said, that village is at the foot of the mountain. When I was a child, it had no name, so it was named after the mountain. I remember, when I was little, I used to go hunting in the mountains with my dad. After hunting, he would cut honeycomb for me to eat. There's a cave in the mountains, cool and airy. We stored leftover honey there, to eat next time. Could the evidence be there? I shared my idea with Chen Yu. His eyes lit up. Very possible. I'll go right now. No, I said, grabbing his hand. You're too conspicuous. As soon as you leave the capital, someone will definitely follow you. Only if I go will it not attract attention. And the mountain is large. Now I'm the only one familiar with the terrain. Chen Yue hugged me, hesitating. But I can't bear to let you take risks again. I have to avenge my father. The Su family's kindness to me is as heavy as a mountain. I have to save them too. They are also my family. He let go of me and said, I was stunned. How could it be? Isn't he the heir of Marquis Jingnan? Although I also suspected he was Su Mu, after all the evidence, he really wasn't. Chen Yue and I looked alike since we were kids. He came to Beijing for a short stay. When others bullied him, he wouldn't say a word. I saved him a few times. We got along well. He often asked me to pretend to be him, to get back at people for him. Later, on his way back to Lingnan, the emperor sent people to kill Chen Yue. Because the emperor believed in uprooting evil. This jade pendant was also given to me by Chen Yu. I didn't want to marry the second princess, so I went to the military camp. Before I came back, I had already exchanged letters with Marquise Jingnan. I don't understand. Why would Marquise Jingnan be willing to help you? And does the emperor know that you're a fake, Sumu? The enmity for killing a son is irreconcilable. The emperor thought he was clean, but he left clues. So when the emperor saw me, he was only shocked, not pleased. He didn't dare to deny my identity. Even if I weren't Chen Yue, he wouldn't say anything, because Ling Nan never reported a death. He also suspected if Chen Yue was actually alive. So the emperor is guilty. Murdering his brother's son, if that gets out, that's no different from a tyrant. Sumu wanted to send some people to protect me in secret, but I refused. Traveling together would draw too much attention. If Sumu's men redeploy, the Zhao family would be on the scent like dogs. They'd be onto us. I disguised myself as Chen Yu's driver and slipped out. Heading west, I stopped halfway to rest and overheard passers-by saying that the Su family was sentenced to execution after autumn, and the second princess is getting married. The emperor wants to force Chen Yu into marriage. It's been 3 days since I left the capital. They probably know I'm gone by now. I believe Sumu won't marry the second princess. He must have been coerced by threatening his family. On the 4th day, I noticed several suspicious-looking traveling merchants behind me. They followed me but didn't sell anything. Instead, they kept sneaking glances at me. I was still being pursued. I exchanged my clothes with a passerby. I gave her 20 taels of silver to let her go in the opposite direction. Finally, I managed to lead them away. At the entrance to the village, it was reduced to ruins. The empress is ruthless. The first prince is a wolf in sheep's clothing. They didn't even spare the stray dogs. Bones were thrown at the roadside. Hatred grew in my heart. After bypassing the village, I headed up the mountain without stopping. In the honey jar in the cave, I indeed found the ledger wrapped in oiled paper. It was densely written. It recorded that the Zhao family passed off inferior weapons as good ones and sold the good ones to the enemy. There were also march routes and formation maps. It even had the first prince's personal seal. I hid the ledger in my clothes. Just as I was about to descend, I heard subtle footsteps behind me. At the critical moment, I turned and jumped into a nearby lake, hiding among the water plants. The people on the shore were those merchants. The 4 of them looked around whispering to each other. Even if that woman finds the evidence, by the time she brings it back, the Su family will have their heads chopped off. What is there to fear? This is leverage after all. The emperor is very suspicious. If it gets out, it will harm the crown prince, since we can't find him. Let's just set the mountain on fire. We've already massacred the village anyway. One more mountain doesn't matter. Should have known to do it at the border. Kill that woman and her father together and be done with it. Unnecessarily ruined the crown prince's plans. If it weren't for Lin Jing messing things up, we wouldn't have let Su Zhen live until now, making us brothers run back and forth. Hearing this, my heart was in turmoil. I wished I could tear these people before me into pieces. It turned out that they were the ones who stumbled in the fray. The 4 finished discussing, pulled out fire starters, and began to set fires. I held my breath and focused. After they had been gone for a while, I followed the current downstream, finally got down the mountain ahead of them, traveling through the night. It took only half the time it took to get there. I returned to the capital street vendors. People casually talk about the second princess's marriage. Princess's estate spent a lot of silver to have the world praise this marriage. They say the second princess has genuine feelings and dismissed all the male favorites from her mansion. Some also say that Chen Yue is just a stand-in for Sumu. If they really get married, he might end up just another male favorite. After nightfall, when my watch shift changed, I climbed over the back wall to see Sumu but saw the second princess sitting in his room. Drinking from his teacup, she was leaning on Sumu. With a lazy, seductive expression, wanting to feed water mouth to mouth, Chen Yue avoided the second princess and sneered. Su Xiao has entered the brothel. If you don't behave, I'll make her receive clients tonight. She happens to be good-looking, used to have a fiery temper. Offended many powerful sons. Say, if we hold a public auction, will someone spend a fortune on her? I know you are Sumu. I could never mistake it, the person I love. When we were young, you saved my life. Now I return the favor of saving your life. Isn't that perfect? Sumu stiffened his back through the window. When he saw me hiding under the flower terrace, his eyes softened, but in a blink. When facing the second princess, he became cold and ruthless again. I only care about Wanxing. The concern for Su Xiao is only for Wanxing's sake. And when young, I saved Wanxing, not the second princess. The one who saved the second princess is the son of the vice minister of revenue. Huang Min, he saved me. I've only heard my father talk about it. After he joined the army, he came back to the capital several times with the general to report. But I was too restless, sneaked out to go boating, and bumped into a little girl. He threw me into the lake to feed the fish. In the middle of our quarrel, we accidentally fell in together. Someone saved me, but I had a high fever for 3 days and completely forgot. The incident later my father told me about it, so it was Sumu. Who saved me? Huang Ming saved the second princess. The whole capital knows. Huang Ming has had a crush on the second princess for a long time, but she broke his leg. He's been down and out ever since. He hasn't left the house. The second princess smashed the teacup on the ground, her stubborn face showing ruthlessness. I don't care if I mistook someone. Even if it's a mistake, I'll see it through. Sumu, I will make you admit your identity sooner or later. He stormed out with a dark face. I made a gesture to Sumu and secretly followed her. The second princess holds grudges. As soon as she went out, she ordered her men to start bidding on Su Shao tonight. Highest bidder wins. I quickly changed into men's clothes and rushed to the brothel. One step ahead of her, I directly bribed the madam and bought Su Shao for 3,000 taels. She wasn't abused much, but afraid she'd cause trouble. They starved her once a day. When she saw me coming, she threw herself on me, tears and snot everywhere. When the second princess found out Su Shao was bought, she ordered the brothel to be trashed. I handed the evidence to Sumu, but before he could enter the palace, he heard that the first prince had returned. The first prince came back under the pretext of a celestial omen. He said, the Ziwei star is dim and dark, the Sirius star is majestic, and is about to replace it. He suggested preventing future troubles, prepare in advance, and that Sirius star was the general. Whether the emperor believed it or not, the first prince's words became a thorn in his heart. When Sumu presented the evidence, the emperor's face was dark and unreadable. The first prince pointed out that Sumu had forged evidence, saying he was the legitimate son of the Su family. Sumu, the youngest son of Marquis Jinan, Chen Yang entered the palace in time and confirmed Sumu's identity. The emperor was furious. He stripped the empress of her title and confined her to the cold palace. The Zhao family was raided. Su Shao deliberately brought a basket of rotten eggs, mingled in the crowd. Watching Zhao Yu being let out, she aimed at his face and pelted him with joy. The first prince had been praying at Taiping Temple, so he escaped unscathed, but the emperor was already paranoid. He secretly investigated the first prince's past at Taiping Temple. Everyone was on edge, and there was a sense of impending storm. The general had returned home, but his military command was taken back. As night fell, the distant palace was lit up by fire. Sumu gathered his men to head over. I panicked and called out to him, you might get killed if you go. The emperor already suspects you're Chen Yu. Why wouldn't he want to kill you again? In recent years, Marquis Jingnan's benevolent rule has overshadowed the emperor. Word has reached the capital. Sumu looked at me deeply. He planted a kiss on my hair. I'm not necessarily going to save him. The first prince must not ascend the throne. At the gate, the general was waiting with his private army. The two of them hurried off into the night and soon disappeared from sight. Su Shao held my hand, proudly said, my brother is the best. I'm still waiting for you to become my sister-in-law. Don't worry. That night, I didn't sleep a wink. In the distance, the sound of metal and horses echoed. Every door was tightly shut. The gates of countless ministers were even surrounded, until the sky began to lighten. The sound of hooves broke the morning's stillness. Sumu, covered in blood, rushed straight into the mansion. Seeing me, he calmly pulled me into his embrace, ending it. I listened to his thrilling account, unaware that I had already bitten my lower lip. My face was pale. Sumu gently parted my lips. His eyes were tender and affectionate. Don't hurt yourself. The emperor is unfit to rule, narrow-minded. He believes slander. He has long been on guard against the Su family. The Su family has risked their lives for the royal family for generations. The late emperor was good at recognizing talent and distinguishing loyalty from treachery. Last night, the eldest prince took an extreme measure, led his troops to force the palace. He also exposed the empress had been slowly poisoning the emperor for a long time. After he returned, he even increased the dosage. He took the emperor's favorite third prince and killed him with one sword strike, and forced the emperor to abdicate to him. The emperor, enraged and heartbroken, vomited blood due to the poison. Fortunately, the general and Sumu arrived in time, and the Marquis Jingnan, who had secretly entered the capital. Together, they killed all the rebels. The eldest prince saw the tide had turned. He had no choice but to surrender, but was shot dead on the spot by Marquis Jingnan. The emperor saw his only son killed. The poison acted faster, and he collapsed to the ground, hiding his hatred. He demanded that Marquis Jingnan find an antidote. Marquis Jingnan just took the blood-stained arrow and casually wiped it on the imperial robe, and threw it on the ground. Sumu knelt with the general, as a member of the Su family army, and strongly supported Marquis Jingnan's ascension to the throne. The emperor saw Sumu's actions and instantly understood. He was literally enraged to death. After everything settled, Sumu asked the new emperor for a marriage decree. On the day of Sumu and my wedding, I heard that the second princess, imprisoned in the dungeon, had gone mad, stabbed her own eyes out with chopsticks. Su Shao, on the other hand, had been nowhere to be seen all day. I was wondering where she had gone. Before entering the bridal chamber, I vaguely heard snoring from inside the room. Sumu's hand, about to untie my belt, stopped, his face livid. From under the bed, he pulled out the missing Su Shao. Oh, how did I fall asleep? Brother, Are you done with the bridal chamber? But I haven't even started the wedding pranks yet. I stifled a smile, watched helplessly as Su Xiao was grabbed by Su Mu and thrown out. A year later, Su Xiao had learned to use the emperor to command the lords. In the past, she used me as a shield. Now she uses my son, Su An, as a shield. When Su Mu returned from training the troops, he had caught Su Xiao several times coming to sneak in a way. He pretended not to notice. He actually felt that having a sister-in-law like Su Xiao made taking care of the child very worry-free. At night, Su Mu closed the doors and windows tightly. He hadn't even eaten dinner, and said to me, Su Xiao says, when an An grows up, it won't be so easy to kidnap him anymore. So we need to get her another golden token of immunity.